live from the Colorado Festival of Horror. Smurf here, and I have to admit, I'm a little happy to have you on the show, Sheri Davis.
Well, good. I'm happy to be
Davis, Sheri Davis. Davies or Davis?
Davis.
Davis. See, it's not a show unless I fuck your name up. You laugh, but it is very true. And before we go any further, we have to address the elephant in the room. Those boots.
Yes.
Those are spectacular.
Are you really going to make me?
Boots. Yes! Are you kidding? We're talking about spectacular boots. And look at this. Yeah, you thought I was kidding. Look at these. So what's the story on these?
I just love boots.
Okay.
And I love, like Python and cheetah and, things like that.
You were a wrestler in a previous life? No? Okay.
I'm just a Texan.
Yes, as soon as you join Texas, you get those pairs of boots.
It's the whole Dallas Cowboy cheerleader look going today.
Jerry Jones, eat your fucking heart out. Thank you for joining us. Is this your first horror con, or do you do this a lot?
No, I used to do these more often before COVID. Like
before the blip.
Yeah, exactly. I used to do them quite often. So it's just been a while, and then life happens, and took a little break, and coming back, and this is my first con I'm coming back to do.
Well, welcome. I found out something. Yes, because we have the crew of Blind. What's it like working with these maniacs? I mean, we just had them on, and were you killed inappropriately?
No.
Okay, I had to ask. We're talking about racetracks down penises, so I mean, I don't know how you're getting
Joe's out of control. Joe's out of control.
Joe is out of control, but I think you have to be a bit removed from the world to write horror. Let's face it.
You think?
Just a bit. Maybe just a bit outside. Maybe? I don't know.
I don't know. It's fun.
I'm not a writer. Well, I am a writer, but that's beside the point. What was it like working on Blind? What's your character? What can you tell us?
Oh, it was great. I mean, one thing I can say about LA, we were just talking about this, Sarah and I, were like, a lot of people living in LA and being in the horror community. Everybody kind of knows everybody, and there's a lot of drama. And I feel like you kind of discover who are really your friends and who aren't. And even though like I don't see Sarah and Joe and Jed and all of them all the time, I truly consider them friends. So even though, cheers. So even though we don't have to see each other and talk all the time and that kind of thing, I still feel like, they're the kind of friends that will have your back, kind of thing. So working on Blind, I only came in for a day. It was a small role. A lot of things I do with Sarah, I'm a small role. She's the lead, but that's okay. It's fun. We have a good time. But I play a reporter. I kind of open up.
You're April O'Neil.
April O'Neil?
Oh, boy.
Oh, yes, I know. Wait a minute. Took me a second.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Took me a second. Wow. Yes, took me a second. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I opened up the film. I'm the reporter telling the story of Sarah French's character, basically.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
How many times have you been killed on screen?
I don't even know.
Oh.
I am very seldomly the final girl. I have died a lot.
Oh, you're like...
I think I've done...
You're the one hiding
I think when I was counting, I've done
chainsaws?
like 103 films when I was trying to count, and I think I've got 90 something on IMDb, and I've died in a big majority of them. Like, for real, I've died a lot. So
do you enjoy doing the horror aspect, or what's the most appealing about it, or is there something you would rather do instead? Because I know what the Muggle job is, and we'll get to that because I think that's absolutely admirable.
I love horror. I really, and it's crazy, I never, I'm someone, I went to college, I've had several different professions in my life, and I came to acting later in life by total mistake, complete accident. And, I grew up with the 80s horror, and so I love all of those franchises, that we had in the 80s. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. So for me, I knew I liked going and renting that VHS, and watching, all of the Nightmare on Elm Street and that Hellraiser and, all of, the films that we watched back then.
Right.
But I never could have imagined I would have kind of made a career in horror. I love drama. I love inspirational movies. I love a lot of different things. I've done some comedy as well. So I feel like as an actor, I have great fans in horror and I have great friends in horror, so I will always continue to do that as long as I'm able to do that and wanted in that area. But I definitely love drama. I love really intense roles that that evoke, and horror evokes emotion as well. But
Right.
but you know, those really deep emotions and those kind of things that make you really think, you know.
So what was the one horror film in the 80s you watched that you're like, if my parents find out about this, I get a whooping?
Oh, I wouldn't get a whooping. I was a good girl. I was a daddy's girl. I would not get a whooping. I was a good girl.
Okay. So
I would not. Like they, you know, they trusted me. So like I could watch whatever, you know, like my mom, who was much more conservative than my dad, my mom would even, you know, take me and let me get whatever I wanted. If it was R, it was okay, you know. It was never a big thing.
Damn,
but you know, if there were boobs, I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like so
how does
embarrassed.
that work?
I don't know. I was like so embarrassed. I think my parents were embarrassed too. Like that's, you know, that was.
I mean, that's
that
half of the
time.
80s
That was
slasher films.
I know, but that's just
tits, murder tits.
I know, but that's how it was. Like if that came on the screen, I think they did this and I did this, and we were like, oh my God, wait till this part's over, you know? Like I mean.
I don't think that's the part you're supposed to be covering your eyes at, but you know, hey.
Well, you know.
Different people. Hold on, I gotta recenter after that one. That's spectacular. So what is the favorite 80s horror film then? I mean, what were your like?
Hellraiser.
Oh.
Hellraiser is my all-time favorite.
So what do you think about them replacing Pinhead with a female lead now for Hellraiser?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know, I like the idea of recreating some things and other things I don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I've found that I think the reason Hellraiser appeals to me, having grown up, you know, in Texas, very small town Texas, the Bible Belt, I think the play on anything with horror and religion really messes with me
And
that much more.
And all that Hellraiser focuses on.
Right. So I feel like that's why maybe the Hellraiser is like the one that really gets me the most.
So, favorite Cenobite?
I like Pinhead. I still like Pinhead.
Yeah,
like
there's nothing wrong with
he's
that.
just fucking evil. I mean,
is it the voice or the head or just how he gives you the puzzle box and he's all here? You know?
Yeah, he's just fucking creepy.
Because I do like the one guy with the Stevie Wonder glasses.
Yeah.
It's great. I don't know his name. You guys are laughing at me. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. Chatterbox. But Dane freaking knew it. Holy shit. What's wrong with me today? I need more wine. More wine.
Hellraiser. You what?
Actually, Hellraiser. There were two films that, when I was growing up, that impacted me the most. The first one, of course, was Hellraiser. That first one with the bloody mattress, the doorway, the chick in the bandages, and then oh my God, then she makes out with him, and I'm like,
it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
It is disturbing. And
what's that say about us?
And here we are.
Yeah.
And then there's Serpent Under the Rainbow, which that film is just so well. Bill Pullman does an amazing job, and it's based on a true story. So that fucked me up for a bit. I'm like,
I remember that. Like I remember when that came out, but I don't remember the actual movie.
So it was based on like real life zombies, and they were trying to find a way medically to use this powder that they used to create zombies for the medical industry, and Bill Pullman was the doctor scientist that they sent.
Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and watch.
And he got sucked into it, and he gets buried alive, and I'm like, oh no, can't do that.
Yeah.
Is there anything on set that you draw the line? You're like, no, I can't do this too much. Or you're like, that's too far for me.
We talked about this a little bit last night.
We did. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Like, I'm not, against nudity personally. For me, my whole thing about nudity is I want it to be a scene where it is very much like a part of the story.
Right.
So for me, I'm not one personally for gratuitous nudity.
Okay.
I can but
no, too much blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? So, and of course, I've been offered more roles than I can count, and I've either turned them down or they've altered the roles. I mean, and I've played a prostitute several times, honestly, and like I've done some pretty hardcore scenes, but I honestly, like, it's never shown like full nudity or like straight on
so
like
it's implied
boobs.
or
Yeah. So for me personally, I think it just has to be really, really a part of, what that character, that scene, part of that story, for me.
Is there a script out there or a franchise you want to be a part of that you're knocking on the door that you're like, hey, over here, yo, Texas girl here?
I know. I was talking about this morning with James Stokes. So,
oh, excellent.
Yeah.
And I didn't even overhear this conversation.
Yeah. So Yellowstone is like it for me. It is absolutely. I am like, grew up in Texas, grew up on a ranch, like rode motorcycles and had horses and had to take care.
Costner's character is such a
and I almost worked crew on 1883, and I was working on another film, and so I didn't get to do that. I had to make a choice.
So heartbroken at the end of 1883.
Oh my God!
I mean,
somebody ruined it for me.
Oh, fuck them!
I was pissed. Yeah, I was pissed.
Can you write a death scene for that asshole?
Yeah, I was pissed. But yeah, Yellowstone.
The one guy that just spoiler and then there you go.
Yeah.
Wait, don't write that. That's not my death scene. I can't be that guy. Oh shit. All right, fine.
But Yellowstone absolutely, I think, is like one of the, I don't know if there's anything that's done it for me as much as Yellowstone.
Who's your favorite character?
Kelly Riley's character, Beth. I mean, by far dream freaking role. I mean, dream role. Just can't take my eyes off of her acting, and then you think she's got that English accent, and then you see her, and
how she navigates a room.
Oh, everything about it. I mean,
everybody's
if she is on camera, she owns the scene. Like it does not matter what it is. So
wow. So we'll step into the Muggle world for a moment because I do want to mention this because this is spectacular. Because you're a nurse.
Yes.
You're like an RN.
Yes.
You're a badass.
I'm a tired badass. Oh, yeah.
So what's it like? I mean, you've been on the front line. You were even telling us last night when we were drinking about running like COVID protocols during sets. What was that like?
Not fun. I mean, not fun at all. You're the most loved.
I do this a lot.
Yeah, you're the most loved or the most hated on set, and it's a very, very difficult position to be in. It really is because it's great. I can tell you working on big budget sets, working as like a COVID compliance officer, or for me, a COVID compliance supervisor.
Right.
So I was working with Fox. I was working with Warner Brothers. I was like, because I've been a nurse for so long, I was a supervisor. I wasn't just one of the ones out on the floor. So for me, going from the level I was as a COVID compliance officer, as a nurse of a long time, to indie film sets that just needed me by title only. I come to find out people who I thought would respect my position and hired me for that, for my expertise, and then to be so disrespected was very, very disheartening. And it's happened more than once is the thing. And also, because of, on indie film sets, I don't have a whole team of COVID compliance officers,
Right.
So it's one of me to a ton of people. And then there's no way to run that the way it needs to be ran safely. So it's very challenging. And it's very hard because, people who know me as an actress, Sheri, or, producer, and a few as director, Sheri, they only see me as the nurse or the whatever. And it's so funny, like some of the people, now we have the kind of like pay to play roles, and some of those people don't know who I am, and they come in and it's like, I'm so and so and I'm here for this, and I'm an actor, and I'm just like, okay, can you sign in and put this up your nose, and okay, go over here for 15 minutes. When you're clear, I'll let you. Yeah. So it's been very, this is to be very serious conversation.
Yeah,
it's been very challenging for me.
So now that the brakes have been let off, have you seen like everyone kind of breathe a little bit more sigh of relief?
Yeah.
Kind of, tension filled out there?
It still depends. It still depends on if it's a big budget set versus an indie set, and it depends on the producers and the director what kind of a tone they set for the film, and maybe the area you're filming in, or how closely knit you are. I feel like most people who take it seriously, we try to have a little more space, maybe, if we're not masking now and things like that.
Right.
But
because Because there were a lot of bubble violators before COVID, and I'm like, thank God, because God, you smell like anchovies. Just get out of.
It's like, get out of my face.
Get out of.
Get out of my face. Yeah. But I mean, nothing has been more challenging than actually going back to bedside nursing and working on a COVID unit in the peak of COVID. That was hard. I think I definitely have like some PTSD from that.
I can only imagine. Yeah, thank you for your diligence. We appreciate that. I just wanted to acknowledge that because I thought that was fantastic last night when we were talking. The other part of our conversation last night was you directing and like, because I gave you my pitch last night. I got a story, guys. But I find it fascinating that you're directing and you have all these amazing like stories on deck. Can you talk us through some of those? Or, I mean, how did you get into directing and doing all of that?
I knew from day one I wanted to direct. Like, I knew from day one.
Right.
I totally fell into acting by mistake. Like I said, it was a complete fluke. And
I mean, with those boots, I can understand how you could kind of slip right into that. I had to do once.
Okay, I expected it. They're out there, you know. I mean, they're out there.
Well,
what can I
say?
About
it last night, so you know, because there was that whole conversation with Angela. Yes.
Slipped it in there too.
See?
Yeah.
There's two. But no, yes, please. So walk as you always wanted to be a director.
So in my, professional life, I've almost always been like a supervisor management position. So, and I came from a medical device and pharmaceutical background.
Oh, that's cutthroat. That's more cutthroat than the film industry. Jesus.
But they really geared us, and I learned so much, and like how to build teams and how to be that positive voice for your team and how to speak, so many things that I learned. So for me, I feel like producing and directing is pulling all of those pieces together and making them work.
Okay.
Kind of thing. So it's a lot of organization, but for me, I have the creative side to where like I read a script, I envision everything.
Wow.
Like, I mean,
that's
it's instant.
Talent.
It's instant for me. Like I picture what the character looks like. So I put a call out a couple of different times. I put some emails out or some posts out about getting scripts, and I have a little over 200 scripts in my. I have a lot of scripts, and I've optioned a lot of them. So now we're at a point, they've all sat because I was about at the point I was going to start producing them and I was gathering funds, and then COVID happened. So and then, that's kind of changed all of our
Everything
world.
goes sideways.
So, right. So now at this point, I'm getting back to directing, and I'm super excited because that's where I've wanted to be back for a while now, and it just hasn't been able to happen. So I'm kicking off just because I can kick it out quickly, a short film, but it's an anthology, and it's basically I have 5 short stories, and this has been shelved for a while with somewhere major that wanted female directors approached me to do this, and I already happened to have these scripts, and they sent me scripts even. They were like, no, these are way better. So I had these, scripts sent to me, and I tweaked them. And so what they are is each one is like a subgenre of horror. So like, I think I told you this last night, right? So like one is vampire, but you don't know it's vampire because every story has a twist, and every story, and it's just like Hair of the Dog, the film I directed, it's like that. Like I like something where you're watching it and you think you're getting it, but then suddenly there's a twist. There's something and you're like, whoa, like I didn't see that coming. Right. Or it's making you think. Like Hair of the Dog, I had so many people tell me they had to go back and watch it again to understand it. I actually like that. I like to be in a theater and watch something and have to think about it and want to go back and watch it again to see if I missed anything or missed any clues.
Yeah, because I mean, that's where the problem with sci-fi these days. They're force feeding you and not letting you come to your own conclusions or circling back around. And what you explained and pictured and painted for us last night, it really feels like Love, Sex, and Robots.
Yeah.
Which is such a great
Yeah.
series on Netflix.
Yeah.
So to hear you talk about this and the passion that you had last night was
I get really, really excited, when I talk about
I just thought it was the amazing hat you had on last night.
Oh yeah, my hat. No, but each one is its own subgenre of horror. So like one is vampire, one is a demon, and And, you know, one is, I mean, there's just a different, each one a ghost story, you know, possession. Each one has its own. But the thing is, the way they play out, you don't really know what direction it's going. Or it's the least likely person who ends up being the vampire or the demon or, you know, whatever. So.
Very Tales from the Dark Side.
Right.
We were talking about Rod Serling last night.
Right. They're very kind of, like I said, I used to do the Tales from the Crypt Bud Light girl, and I used to carry the little dude around with me. And it was so much fun. But I loved Tales from the Crypt, and I loved Twilight Zone. And I loved having those short stories that could just like suck you into the story and then you're done, you know? But it was like intense and
well, and you never knew because all of Rod Serling's writings, you never knew what you were going to get.
Right.
I mean, the utopia, the people in the fishbowl world where, you know, all the world is overpopulated and they're all pressed up against the glass, or, I mean, there's so many good scenes.
Right.
And you never knew what Rod was going to bring. And I loved that element.
Yeah.
And I think we've gotten away from it for
and that's the kind of thing I like. And that's you know how certain directors are kind of known for, you know, this is the direction they go, you know, with their work.
Well, you know, a Tarantino film like 5 minutes in.
So I really, really, really hope that at some point it will be like, yeah, that's a Sheri Davis film. Like, that's the kind of stuff she would do, because that is my plan. That is my thing. The suspense, the twist, always a twist. Every single thing I have rewritten has a twist to it.
So, have you seen Nope yet?
I have not.
Because I love Peele. I think what he's doing for horror and the industry in general is spectacular. Is there any director out there that you're looking at and like, I want to surpass that. I want to bring a better game than that?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I really, like, I look at female directors, like one of my biggest inspirations is Jen Lynch, you know? And she's the one that pushed me to direct. Like, I met her on my birthday at TFW one year, and she had me in the corner, and she was like, "You've got to do this," you know. And she's messaged me, and she's followed me, and, you know, my ex worked one of the episodes she directed on American Horror Story, and, you know, she's just like, "Tell Sheri this and tell Sheri that," and, you know, she actually watched my film, you know, and I was like, "Holy crap," you know. Vera Farmiga is someone I absolutely love as an actress, as a producer, as a director. Like, I'm a huge, huge fan of hers, like Bates Motel.
So good.
I mean, she, by far, one of my favorites. So those are two, like, female filmmakers that just totally do it for me.
Okay. No, and they should. I mean, the Bates Motel was so underrated, but such a huge impact.
Yeah.
Oh my God, watching that all the way through. Favorite season of American Horror Story?
Oh,
I hear a chuckle over there.
I like The Coven.
The Coven? The Coven was creepy.
I like The Coven because I totally dig the music.
Yes.
Like, all the Stevie Nicks, like, I mean...
The 80s stuff. You're giggling, so they're...
We have a director that we know that loves Hotel.
Hotel?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Hotel. Lady Gaga completely surprised me.
She blew me away.
Hit the cheap seats with that freaking performance. Oh my God.
Hotel is intense. It's really intense.
I mean, the whole sub-basement area and all that.
Yeah, it's really intense. But The Coven, just like I said, I think I'm so into music. I feel like, I don't know, The Coven really did it for me. It was the one.
Yes, because I like that, because, I mean, how James Gunn introduces a lot of music into his films, or to have, even Stranger Things.
Yes.
To have that interjected in there. Best soundtrack out there that you would be like, I need this?
Ooh. Stranger Things one is good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really, that's a good one. I don't know.
You don't have to have, there's no right answer, really.
Because what I love, I'm such a 80s music, like, it doesn't matter if it's
There's
rock.
nothing wrong with the 80s.
Rock,
Let's just
pop,
put that down right now.
Country, anything 80s. I'm a total, like, 80s person. So I love that a lot of films are bringing back so much of that 80s music now, you know?
The forgotten B-sides.
So, yeah.
Because we were talking about Blake Shelton and
Miranda and Gwen last night,
Because Gwen's spectacular. I've met Gwen.
Tishomingo's not far from me.
Yes. How do people follow you? What do you got coming up? What do we need to be on the lookout for you.
Okay, so what I have coming up is I am about to direct one of the shorts for the anthology called The Next.
I'm putting this out there, and I just kill me. Just put me in a scene, chop me into small little pieces. Even if it's like Stephen King Night Shift style, just throw me into a wood chipper. I don't give a shit. And I'm just kidding. So anyway, continue. What do we got coming?
So I'm directing The Next, and I'm trying to get all the short films done, but I have 2 features I'm hoping to get directed by the end of next year.
Oh, wow. That's ambitious.
Yeah. But, I started on funding ahead of time, too.
Okay.
So I've been working on funding for a while. So, so one of them is a Western, which I'm dying to do. It is nothing to do with horror at all.
It's a failed art out there.
And
there's a market for it, though, as Yellowstone.
Yeah, I think it's brought a lot of that back, So yeah, and the thing about, originally being from Texas is I have so many locations because, shooting in Texas is completely different than shooting in California.
Very true.
You don't have to have all the permits, you don't
just show up in an empty field. No one's gonna bother
you literally can just go knock on someone's door and say, hey, I'm going to do this. And they'll be like, yeah, go right ahead.
Lemonade. Are you fucking kidding me?
It's
They're
just
like, hey,
so
you look thirsty.
It's so different, as long as you're not going to tear anything up. And if you do, just as long as you fix it.
Just fill the hole when you make it. That's okay.
Yeah. And I think, I've been back in Texas for about 8 months now. And, it's opened my eyes back up to the things I knew originally, which is I do have access to so many great locations.
Right.
So now I'm like, I'll go somewhere and I'll be like, oh my God, that reminds me of this script. I have to pull that script up. This is where we can shoot that.
Oh, nice.
So
you're already forming the catalog.
Oh yeah. Big time. So, and then I have things I'm acting in. I have a feature that I'm teaming up with another director I worked with before, and he contacted me and he said, I'm writing one specifically for you to play the lead again, because I haven't played a lead in a while. You've just
been a victim.
And I started out playing leads quite often. So yeah, and it's something, along the lines of like Snake with a Human Tail, the little film
I was going to ask you about that because
it's playing that you guys,
really want to watch
playing
that.
Here again. Yeah, it's like it goes away and then somebody wants to pull it back up because someone finds out about it because it's so disturbing. Hey.
More people.
Yeah, so it's another kind of role that is going to, I feel like, it's pretty messed up. It's one of those some people wouldn't want to play that kind of role.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's the kind of role that's going to piss.
It's a little dark.
It's going to piss some people off. It's going to piss some people off. It does. I mean, he wrote it specifically dealing with Texas politics and things like that. So the opening scene, I start out seeing some pretty messed up things. So.
Okay.
So my preacher daddy's going to love that.
Oh my God. We'll just light an extra candle. It'll be fine. Where are you on the Instagrams, the interwebs, the Facebooks? How do we follow you?
Okay, super, super easy. It's Sheri.Davis on Instagram. Sheri is 1 R and an I, Sheri.
There you go.
Davis.
See, you got to throw in the Texas twang to that.
Sheri.Davis on Instagram, the Sheri Davis on Twitter, and actress Sheri Davis on Facebook. So everything's my name. It's easy.
Wow.
Easy.
Way easy. Easy peasy. All right. Any final words, any thoughts you want to put out there before we wrap up for this afternoon? Thank you for coming to the Festival of Horror.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been fun.
I'm excited to see you guys.
We're going to have a lot of
all
fun.
in action tonight.
Yeah.
I have a feeling it's going to be one hell of a party.
It is. It is.
And on that bombshell, we shall say goodbye. Run fast, laugh hard, and always be kind. Good night.